tutorial. We are going to be painting a witchy little owl tonight. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat tonight, so let's get started. Alrighty, yay, we're glad to be back with you tonight. We've been off for a couple weeks here, so we're going to be painting this guy. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a 12 by 12 inch canvas. This is the Fredrix red label. I have painted it with a very light coat of burnt sienna, and I've kind of already sketched out my owl sort of in the way that I want to do him. I'm going to be starting out with an 8 filbert, and then for some of the feathers, you're going to want some sort of a filbert or a round brush will be the easiest way to do our feathers. And just pick the brush that is the size of your canvas, so that it is the same size that you want your feathers to be. So I want my feathers to be about that big, I think. And if I need them bigger, I'll go to a bigger brush. That makes sense. And then you're going to want a round brush for some of the details around the eyes and things like that, and some of the smaller feathers. All right, let me go over colors. Carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna. What color is that? Yellow oxide. Cadmium yellow light. Cobalt teal, ultramarine blue, Dioxazine purple, quinacridone magenta, and Pyrrole orange or cadmium red light will do as well. Unbleached titanium, titanium white, and gloss glazing liquid. All right. So like I said, I painted the background burnt sienna, and the reason that I do that is so that I need to see the go over. There we go. We're a little rusty. It's been a couple weeks, about a month. All right, so I think the first thing I'm going to do, actually, I don't think I'm going to start with that one. I think I'm going to start with my round, and I will kind of sketch out the brush, or with the brush, my bird. All right, so let's go ahead and use some white, maybe a little bit of burnt umber. And we'll just kind of go over our chalk lines, and I can kind of talk you through what I was thinking here. So I wanted my bird to be kind of in the middle here. My photograph, his head is tilted this way, but I wanted my hat tilted this way, so I'm just going to tilt his head this way just a little bit. So in order to kind of keep on the right axis for your eyes, you're going to want to kind of line up wherever you put that brim of the hat with those two eyes, and then kind of just do a line down the middle for that beak, and that'll keep you from getting one eye in front of, too high or whatever like that. So I'm going to kind of mark out sort of where those eyes are going to be. And that's kind of our most important focal point here. So we want to get those sort of in the right place. And then our hat is going to go across here. And then you can also do the chin if you want to kind of mark that out. I'm not going to worry about doing a really dark color right now because I don't want anything that's going to show up too much, but I'm just kind of doing this to show you. You probably don't have to do this. This is just like what I did with my chalk. So kind of a rounded space here for the rest of the head, and then a line kind of coming over, maybe dipping down a little bit, and then you're going to follow this line up and around and then down. And then you're going to just imagine that line goes all the way across, and then continue it up and meet up with it on that side. Okay, so there's our little hat, very easy. And then we're going to kind of curve it up here, and then do a series of little sort of lumpy lines. And then there's a little crease right here where it kind of folds over on itself, and then this line comes down like that. I hope you can see this. It's kind of light, all this chalk, but you get the idea. And then there's a little colored brim there, okay? And then the rest of the body is just going to kind of curve down from the face. So the face was right here, and it's going to curve down. And that line should be right about on the third here. And then this line is going to curve down and out off the canvas this way, like that, okay? And I'm going to maybe put like a moon and some trees back here, but I think I'm going to wait until I know. I just want to do the owl since we're on a Tuesday night. And I'm a little rusty after not painting for 3 weeks, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And if all goes well, we'll paint in some stuff back here. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the larger brush now. And we'll start basing in our owl. This is the 8 Filbert from Aspen, the Princeton Aspen line. And let's go ahead and do kind of a little bit darker color underneath our owl. I'm going to go with burnt umber and a little bit of ultramarine blue, and that'll make a gray, but I want to go more on the brown side than the blue side. So maybe 2 parts ultramarine blue, or maybe 1 part ultramarine blue to 1 part to 2 parts. Okay, let's try that again. 2 parts burnt umber, 1 part blue. Oh, geez. I swear I'm not on pain meds or anything anymore. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just kind of darken up sort of the areas where I think I'm going to want to do some shadows. And that's going to just give us a little bit darker color underneath our feathers once we put them on. So I want some darker here. The eyes are going to have some dark overshadows. And then there's like a little area right along the side of the mouth there. So let's just go ahead and do that. And I'm going to paint this guy pretty loosely. Keep it very like painterly, and I mean, he'll be realistic looking, you know, I can't help myself, but to want to keep him kind of painterly. Okay, so it doesn't look like much yet. I promise we will get you there though. If this is your first time painting, I think this is maybe, I honestly think this one's going to be okay. It's not too difficult. I'm going to try to keep it fairly simple, so we'll see. But I'll walk you through the whole thing. I would say watch the whole thing first and write down notes and things, and then come back to it. So that'll make it a little bit easier on you than trying to paint along in real time. Almost impossible to do that. Can you move that over so I can see it now? The thing. Up, over. Thanks. I got stuff in the way over there. I can't see. Okay. So I've got black and a little bit of purple here. And the purple, it just gives our black a little bit of character. Just something other than just plain old black. We'll go ahead and fill in our dark areas of our hat. And then down here, I see some blue, so I'm going to get some of the Cobalt Teal. Mix that in down here. And I'm just going to put that right in that area right there, at the bottom of that hat where it goes behind him a little bit. Somewhere like that. And we'll be adding more colors in there too, but it'll just give us a starting point. I see some of this color up here, so I'm going to kind of fill in the top of the hat with that. Right there, coming across. And if your paint is kind of feels sticky, you can add a little bit of water. I'm using heavy body acrylics, and sometimes they are a little too thick, so you want to add a little bit of water to them to help them flow. The more paint you paint, the more you'll get used to, you know, how much water that you need. But if you get to any point where you just feel like your paint is just not moving, or it feels sticky, or you're having to add a bunch more paint to get it to cover, that usually means you need more water. If you're having to, you know, just kind of continually like get your layers are getting really thick, that's usually because you just need a little more water. All right, getting a little bit of the unbleached titanium, and I'm just going to mix it up with this brown here and do this back side here with like a little bit of lighter grayish color there. And again, kind of making sure that this line and this line match up. Okay. That looks good. How's everybody doing tonight? In chat.
I think they're doing well.
Getting ultramarine blue here, mixing it with my black.
More importantly, how are you doing?
Great. Feeling really good. Very, very good. Really excited to be painting again. I missed it. I did enjoy getting to hang out with everybody in chat, but I did miss painting.
Actually painting.
Yeah. And this little guy is a great one to start with because he's pretty easy and very fun. He's going to be very cute. I have a feeling we'll be saying cute a lot tonight. So maybe a little bit more of that ultramarine blue. Maybe some of the cobalt teal too.
Yeah, you were a good patient. I will have to say that.
Well, was I?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think I was.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
I have to say the bandages were the worst part. My skin was reacting, and so I have like all these more scabs from the bandages than the actual stitches that I had. Hey, jeez, my skin did not like them. All right, getting some more black here. I was trying to put that on, but you can see it kind of went on a little bit transparently, and that's because the ultramarine blue has so much transparency. Cobalt teal is a little bit more opaque, but that was just kind of watering down everything. So I think I'm just going to put in the black, and then we'll worry about adding the highlights later. So I'm not going to worry about adding my highlights in as I do it. And if you ever have an area that isn't covering like that, just pick the next darkest or the next closest opaque color. So in this case, we've got black. If we were using another color that was lighter, maybe we would use white instead. White's a great color to just add a little bit to it, and it'll make your colors more opaque and cover better. And it's helpful if you kind of just know as you're painting. If you look on the tube, it'll tell you, oh, sorry, didn't mean to throw that. It'll tell you on the back usually how opaque it is. Some brands will have a little square, and like with the black is opaque, and the open is transparent. And so if it's half and half like that, it means it's translucent. So and that just really matters as to what, how well they're going to cover other colors. Generally, though, I really like to have transparent colors in my palette because they mix well, and they make better mixes, and they make better glazes. So a lot of the colors that I like to use are transparent, or at least somewhat transparent. All right, so there's our hat. Looking good so far. I'm going to get some burnt sienna and some yellow and make that gold color that's on the brim. And just bring that across. Really, that background color is almost the right color for it. Get a little bit more burnt sienna here.
So I see that you've gone for like the outdoorsy, woodsy kind of owl with the beard and mustache look. Are we going to keep that through the painting, or?
I probably need to do the eyes and the mouth. Yeah, I probably need to. Here, we'll work on the eyes next because
put on.
He's going to be a little
shirt.
bit hard to watch to follow. I think I'm going to lose people thinking that.
Well, no, just painting the flannel shirt. You'll be all set.
Getting some brighter yellow here with a little bit of white. Do the hat band highlights there. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and we'll use the same color. So I got some yellow here. This was the yellow and burnt sienna, and probably not going to need my orange after all. I wasn't sure how close I could get to this yellow with these two colors, so I added the orange just in case. I really could have used Indian yellow hue too if you wanted to, if you don't have the phthalo or the Pyrrole orange or the cadmium red light. A lot of different ways to get this color, but burnt sienna and yellow seems to be doing okay. So when you're drawing this too, kind of think about there's going to be a kind of an overhang right here, and that's sort of where the beak starts. So I didn't mention that when I was drawing it out, but that's kind of helpful to know sort of where to start the beak. It's sort of kind of right in between the pupils. I'm going to use a little bit of white here with my yellow. And get a little bit more highlight down below. Choking up on my brush here a lot because I want a little bit of control on it. But you could switch to a smaller brush if you want to. Just being lazy here. Don't want to have to clean another one. Okay, so that looks pretty close to where I want to be. That's even worse, isn't it? It looks really demonic. All right, let's get some black here. I promise it'll get better. We just have to let that dry. So here's our black. And we're just going to make kind of a diamond shape almost. Sort of like that. Okay. Cute. And then there's some of the mouth, so I'm going to widen that out just a little bit right there. Okay, get some white. While that's wet, I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of a highlight to stick down the middle. Just kind of brushing it through that wet, dark paint. All right, it worked. A little bit on either side there, and leave this little section here dark on either side of that right there. Okay, definitely creepy. All right, I'm going to get a little bit smaller brush and my black, adding a little bit of water. You're using a round brush and you want to get thin lines or, good lines. You want to add a little bit extra water to your paint. The fluid acrylics will help your paint flow off your brush a little bit. This is a 2 round. All right, I'm going to outline the eyes.
Hey, do you know the owl's favorite subject was in school?
I can't hear you.
What the owl's favorite subject was in school?
No. What?
Algebra?
No. No.
No, really, that's what it was.
Algebra. Okay, I like it. You need drum. You need drum.
I do have. Hold on a second.
No, it's okay.
No, it'll.
You need it. It makes it funnier.
Yes, especially like when it happens like 30 seconds after the joke.
The dad jokes have returned. Okay, I got it.
Okay, here it is. There we go. You didn't hear it, but they can.
They can hear it? Okay. All right, and then let's do our little pupils. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger and going off and make them kind of close together, so not quite centered. And maybe go up. Trying to make them about the same height though. I don't want them to look cross-eyed, so if he's looking cross-eyed, make sure you kind of separate him out a little bit more. He was looking a little cross-eyed there. All right, we'll see. He doesn't look very mean. I kind of want him a little bit meaner looking, so I may have to bring down his eyebrows. He's looking a little too cheerful. I want him to be, well, I mean, I guess he can be cute. It doesn't matter. That one got a little bit outsized. Wrong. The paint's drying up. Get a little bit of that orange just to really brighten that up, and some yellow. So I got both of my yellows, a little bit of burnt sienna. Just want a little bit of an orangey golden yellow here. Okay. Now, if you're a beginner, these eyes will probably be the hardest part for you. So just take your time, use a small brush. And if it's not perfect, well, that's okay, you know? It's going to take some practice before you get good at it, you know? And that's okay. I don't want you to go in thinking that you're gonna have to, you know, do it all perfect on the first try. That's unrealistic. So give yourself a permission to play and have fun with it, and just enjoy the experience of painting as much as you can. I know it's frustrating if you're trying to get it to look a certain way, but try to give yourself a little bit of grace, I guess is the word.
Some freedom to have fun.
Yes, freedom to have fun, make mistakes, play with it, and you'll get better the more you do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's unrealistic to think the first time you do anything it's going to be perfect. So I think that's the main takeaway. All right, we'll let that dry, and let's go ahead and start on our feathers.
Yeah, we're about done, aren't we?
It really comes together pretty quickly once we start doing feathers. Actually, let's go ahead and do the hat because this is dry, and then because the feathers will all kind of come together pretty quickly. So I'm going to get a little bit of that black and add my teal and maybe a little bit of white. The white will just help it stick, and I'm going to kind of lightly brush across. So I have my brush loaded fairly thick with paint, but I'm very lightly brushing it across, and that's called dry brushing, and it will give you these kind of nice wispy little highlights, and you don't have to do a whole lot that way. It doesn't have to be perfectly blended. It's a really great way of adding just a little character to your hat there. Okay, then let's go along the brim that way. So I'm going to bring it down low, and then right about here I'm going to kind of curve it up a little bit, and then do a little bit more dry brushing like right along here. Okay, and then a little highlight right around here as it's coming around. Maybe add a little bit more just in here. Okay, and I'm going to resist over blending. If you want to blend this teal color into the background color, what you can do is make a third color that is a cross between this color and your black. So I'll make this color, which is kind of right halfway in between the two, and just do some more around the outside of that teal on my black. And you see how that's just going to kind of soften up that dry brushing. Still dry brushing it, but I'm kind of blending the edges out just a little bit. Blurs it out, and it kind of makes it look a little bit more realistic, a little bit softer blend. Very easy to do. I'm going to get a little bit of black, and I'm going to come in with my black And where I want it really dark, maybe some of these creases here. And I can go over the top of some of that color if I need to, or right up against the brim there. Right back in here if I need any darker color. All right, there we go. So there's our little owl and his hat. And I've switched to the 4 Filbert. And this is, again, like I mentioned before, is going to be the size that I want to do my feathers. So I think I'm going to do my owl mostly in kind of an off-white color. And then I'll save the white for the last little bit. And those will really pop. So we'll start out with kind of a unbleached titanium. If you don't have it, you can mix it with some yellow oxide and a little touch of burnt sienna or a little bit of burnt umber. I think I'm going to add burnt umber to mine and use it to start. And we'll just kind of start from the bottom and kind of pull up. And those feathers are going to overlap as they come up. So this way we'll kind of have a natural overlap. And they're going to all kind of face the nose. So all the feathers kind of converge, pointing in towards the nose, or the beak, thank you. These ones on the side kind of come up, but the rest of them kind of point towards the beak. Thank you.
We have a question if you want to take it now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
In some unbleached titanium here.
So they'd like to know, is there a specific brush you like to use when you're doing dry brushing?
I like a stiffer bristled brush, so the Aspen works well. If you're using a softer brush, so something with a little bit more give, like one of the Princeton Velvet Touch or something like that, you may just use a little bit less paint on your brush and hold it really upright, and that will help a little bit, just kind of get it right on the tip. And yeah, you kind of, I do have a video called Blending with Different Types of Acrylics, and in it I talk about that, and it also kind of talks about brushes and how to do dry brushing things with different kinds of paints and different kinds of brushes. So you might check that out because it's got a little bit more specifics. But yeah, I like a little bit stiffer bristled brush. I just find it a little bit easier to use for dry brushing.
All
right.
To blend acrylic paints.
Yeah, 4 ways to blend acrylic paints. And it talks about craft acrylics and student acrylics, and then the heavy body acrylics, and how to do different techniques with them and how they differ depending on what brush you're using, or how the techniques differ depending on what brush you're using. All right, so I'm going to get the white here. I'm just going to start going around here, but I think I want a little bit of gray around the mouth, so I'm going to get a little bit of black. Mix that in with my white. I'm just going to do a little bit of gray around that beak. And if you get it on the beak, that's fine. We can always go back in and fix that beak. I think I'm going to go over just a little bit and then come back with more color. So a little bit of gray there. And then I think I want it a little bit darker under the chin. So I'm going to get a little bit of the burnt umber with the black, kind of a dark gray, and then add the white to it so that it's kind of a medium dark gray. There we go. With the white, it can be tricky painting a white animal because there's not as much contrast, but a lot of times the white is not actually white. It looks white, but when you really break it down, there's a lot of other tones. There's grays and there's browns and don't don't just go straight in with white because it won't, it won't look right. I think I want to go a little bit darker under the chin, just give him a little bit more of a chin here. And around the face. Okay, so now when I go over the top of these areas here by the hat, I'm going to load up with a fairly good amount of paint, and I'm going to go over the top of that hat just a little bit, so I have kind of a fuzzy border on so those feathers are kind of creating a soft edge right there. And then the same thing with this side, just using that brush to create kind of a border, and I'm kind of going around here again, kind of facing towards the nose-ish sort of as I come around. Okay, that looks good. And then go a little bit heavier. Now the ones around the eyes, these feathers are a lot smaller, so just small little brush strokes is all you need to get that look. I'm going to get a little bit more white. Do the white above the eyes, coming around. Doing the same thing with this black here and going over it and giving it a little bit of texture over the top of that eye, the black around the eye. So I'm not doing it like a solid line right there. Kind of tapping my brush, so I'm getting kind of a soft look there. Okay, then in the middle, sorry, I touched my, was that loud? Sorry. Right here in the middle, I'm going to kind of come straight up and just do some and then right here I want to get a little bit of the black, and I'm going to do kind of dark right here because I feel like there's probably, I put the picture was a white owl, it didn't have the hat. I photoshopped it in, so I'm going to darken up this area. And this actually needs to be kind of straight, but I'm probably going to get my black and fix that later. So I'm going to darken up this area so that it's kind of closer to that black color. Since the hat's on top, the hat would be the one that would have the straight line instead of the feathers. And then in here, the feathers are on top, and we're seeing, the hat behind it, and the feathers are on top. In this area, the feathers are here, and the hat's on top. And so that's why we're going to have a solid straight line across here and not that fuzzy edge that I have over here. So darken up that area there. That looks good. And it's okay, I'm leaving a little bit of that reddish showing here and there. I'm going to get my burnt umber black and do some of the striping that I'm seeing. So I'm seeing some little striping happening. Oh, he's cute. He's cute. First cute of the night. All right, here we go. Won't be the last. It has started.
Do we need the cutometer out?
Yes. Okay, getting the white here. Now this part, the black is actually kind of on top of the feathers. It's weird, but that's how it kind of works. So this part's going to be a little bit more smooth than on top. Not as fuzzy with the white. Going around. Cute. Okay, and then even though I'm kind of going around in a straight line, I don't want to leave it that way, so I want to blend that out so it doesn't look like a straight line there. Blend out that white and pull it down. There we go. then this part, get a little bit of that black, a little bit more of the white. And I'm going to really press my brush flat. A little bit more water so I can get kind of a straight line. And I'm going to hold my brush up and do these little straight brush strokes. Now, if your brush is not giving you small enough little lines here, switch to a brush that will. So you can use a smaller brush like this, whatever you need to do. But the main thing, like, you should be able to do it with this brush as long as you press it flat and you have a good straight line there. You can get a straight line here. So I'm just going to kind of do like that. Bring those feathers in over the beak like that. And then I'm going to get some white and just add, taking some of the moisture out so I can dry brush and just dry brush a little bit right down the middle of that peak. Okay, there we go. You see how that worked? It was just very, very light pressure on the brush. Okay, let's keep on going here and fill out the rest of the face. Okay, there he is, cute. And we'll add a few more highlights to the face, but that's the main kind of direction, at least, of the feathers and things. I'm going to get a little bit more white here. Go a little bit brighter on the highlight right around the eyes. Right here, and just kind of brush that out. That'll make those eyes kind of pop a little bit more. I'm having a hard time controlling this brush around that eye there. That's okay. We'll fix that with the black. I'm going to go back to my small round brush now. Get a little bit of that black. Kind of fix any little spots that I need to fix. Looks good. Okay. And now you notice our owl kind of looks wide-eyed. He doesn't look like his eyes are quite set in his head. He looks a little bit flat right now. So in order to make those eyes more dimensional, I need to make sure that this is all dry here. What we'll do is we'll shadow on the eyes themselves. So I think I'm going to use the burnt sienna for that. I'm going to get burnt sienna and some glaze, or you could just use water if you don't have glazing medium. And I think I'm going to use some burnt umber too. Burnt umber, burnt sienna, a little bit of glaze. And depending on how dark I make this will be how dark our glaze is on our eyes. But I'm going to go fairly dark on this. And I'm just going to go over the top of about the halfway mark on that eye. Go across and see the difference between that eye now and that eye. And I can use my finger to kind of help brush out any that kind of comes down too far. And you can always use your yellow over the top again. This doesn't have to be the final layer or anything, but this will help set those eyes in the head a little bit better. I'm going to go a little bit darker, more opaque right there. Put that on, wipe my brush out, and then just kind of pull that color down in the middle. It's obviously my black in my eye will have to be repainted, but that's okay. See, now he looks like those eyes belong in his head. And I'm going to get my black and just touch up the black. Okay, good deal. And then we'll just do a couple more things with the eyes, add a couple highlights, and we'll be done with the eyes. But I need to let that glaze dry before I do anything else. So while that's drying, though, I can kind of add just a little bit of highlight on the bottom part of the eye right here. So I'm going to just use my thin brush and just do a little line right on the part that goes around the eye there. The lid area, or not that lid, I don't know what that's called. Anyhow, that part. Okay, that looks good. Let's get a little bit of bright yellow. And I'm gonna use the bright yellow down here and do kind of a little bit of a highlight down here, just using the edge of the brush, and there we go. Brighten that up. It's looking cute.
Yeah, no more
Go back.
mustache.
How are we doing? Oh, we're only 45 minutes in. We're doing good.
Yeah, we're about done.
Maybe not, but close.
No.
Close enough. All right. I'm going to get some white. And I'm going to get a little bit of ultramarine blue. I think I want a little, I like to use a little bit of blue sometimes in my white areas. So I think I'm going to use that on him. And just figure out where I want my highlight side to be. So this is my highlight side. And I've got kind of some blue light here hitting my hat. So I think I'll go ahead and do my highlights with the blue. And do these. You can see that blue is going to actually be pretty on this owl. It's not super blue, so I'm not putting a ton of blue in there. But against that burnt sienna, it's going to really look very clean because the ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna are pretty close to opposite on the color wheel because not too close. But this has got a lot of red in it, and the reddish orange and blue is opposite red orange on the color wheel. So anytime you're using a orangey orange and a red, or orange and a blue, you're gonna have really nice complementary color effect. They'll look good together, make each other feel a little brighter and more vibrant. Okay, that looks really nice. He's coming along nicely. All right, I'm going to get some black and my burnt umber here and put my little spots now. And I'm kind of just going to find these areas where I have some burnt sienna showing and sort of hit those with this darker color to give him his little spots. Cute. Small around the face. Little ones right around the face. Remember, you can use the side of the brush to do the littler ones, or if you want them thinner. And then if you want them thicker, you can use the flat edge for the thicker. And if you want them rounded, you can turn your brush so that the round part is at the bottom. That will give it a better rounded shape. Okay, he's pretty close. I'm getting some white here and maybe a little bit of yellow oxide. So let's do some yellow. I see some yellow in him too. We'll do some of this yellow in between in some places. It's kind of dirty yellow though. It's not like super clean color. It's got a lot of the browns and grays in it. So make sure that I've got all of the area of his feathers sort of filled in nicely. Oh, I like him. He's looking cute. I think I need a little bit better transition right here from this head, so I'm going to bring this out just a little bit right here. Maybe a couple more. Okay. Oh, I think we have time to do the background. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. The eyes are done, or the dry, I mean. So let's go ahead and put in our highlights, and this will be the last little bit. So I like to do a little bit of blue when I do my highlights. So, or if you have any of that blue with the white left, use that, but a little bit of ultramarine blue and white, a little bit of glaze. We'll do kind of a translucent layer with this blue, and then we'll do a pop of white. And that is kind of my go-to formula for eye highlights. And in this picture, there's only just like one little dot, but I'm going to go ahead and make these a little bit bigger. So bring it out, just a few little dots like that. And then get my white on the tip of my brush, just pure white, and just pick a spot and kind of do maybe over here. Do a little white dot. And I kind of try to have them sort of in the same spot, in the same shape-ish. And that just helps kind of make them look like they're part of the same eye. And then if you want, you can do ones down low. I don't think I'm going to, though. I'm pretty happy with that. I like the yellow down here, so I think that works pretty well. Yeah, cute. And then if you're curious as to if you got your face right, you can always turn it sideways and make sure it looks right. But your eyes should, your pupils should line up with, the brim of your hat, and your nose should be kind of right in the middle there. So I think we're good. Good to go. Thanks.
Okay, so now I'm painting the background, right?
You're painting the background?
Yeah, I thought that's what we agreed. If we had time, I'd do the background.
We have time.
Abstract.
Do they want like a moon or just a black or dark background? Do we want some trees back there? That's kind of my idea, was to do some trees. What does chat want to see?
Okay, well, have to let
Nothing
him
crazy. I'm not going to
catch
paint like like a witch or something really detailed, but I'm going to get some more white here, and just pure white this time. And I'm going
We
to
got moon
put in
and
some small
trees,
moon
trees.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do trees. I think that'll be...
Moon.
That was kind of my first thought. It's just some really like abstracted trees. Nothing too fancy.
A bunch of votes for tanks. I mean,
Mark's got an anonymous account.
It's just blowing up.
There's just
I guess that's weird.
a lot of people
Tanks,
saying tanks.
more tanks. I'm gonna have to shut down chat here. They
Don't stop saying tanks.
Exactly.
It's like, we get it. Tanks are awesome. Mark likes tanks. If you haven't caught on already. If you're new to the channel. Welcome. Hope you stick around, subscribe, come back, share it with your friends. For our existing subscribers, we would love it if you would share it on your socials. It always helps give us a bump in the algorithm if they see that people are sharing the videos. So anytime you do that, even if you just click the share button and don't actually share it, it helps. I guess it shows, it counts as an engagement with our video. And so comments, likes, and shares, all of that really help. We can... It's hard taking a break because the YouTube algorithm doesn't stop, and it doesn't like it when you take a break. So we've kind of seen a dip in our numbers, so it would really definitely help us to get a little bit of bump going back in to the fall season, getting back into our live streams. If you guys don't mind helping us out,
They do an awesome job.
thank you. Oh yeah, just showing up for the live streams helps tremendously. Or watching the videos afterwards, all of that helps too. Okay, just adding a few little bit more details around the face there. But he's super cute. And I feel like I probably can shadow. I might glaze a little bit on top of him, but I'm going to let him set for now, and then we'll do this background. Okay, so I'm going to get my bigger brush here just so we can do the background. So I'm thinking kind of like a teal, like a dark teal maybe for the background color. Getting that ultramarine blue and cobalt teal, and maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. That'll kind of tone it down. Maybe a little bit of yellow. But keeping the Yeah, like that. Kind of a neutral teal. I like that color with our... This is probably not ideal to make a painting around it, but we'll just have a little bit of that burnt sienna showing through, which I don't mind. If you want to do this before you do your hat and all, you won't end up with the burnt sienna background around everything. But like I said, I don't really mind that too much, so just gonna go with it. Yeah, that's pretty. And of course we want the background to be there, to be contrast with whatever is in the foreground, or you know, with our birds. So if you are seeing that you can't see the hat or whatever, then just make sure that you go a little bit darker with the color, darker or lighter, you know, either one. Right now I'm seeing this edge of the hat, see, it's kind of look like it's disappearing here, so I'm gonna try to change that up a little bit. I might go a little bit lighter with this color, just so it's contrasted a little bit more with the hat color. I added a little bit more yellow to my green there. All right, that looks good.
Oh, they'd like to know, what are you going to do with this painting when it's done? Will it go to any of the grandchildren, or?
You know, I'll probably set it out in the living room for at Halloween, you know, but no, I don't know. The grandkids don't seem to care about my art much right now. They're sort of indifferent. They're too little to care. Yeah, they do have some of my art in their house, but
They're like, well, she's just Gigi. That's all that matters.
I know. Yeah, they don't seem to.
They're not impressed.
No, I'm not. Not impressed.
They just want to play in the studio.
Yeah, we have to keep them out of the studio. The little one was so cute because Spencer was sleeping in here with everybody in the house, and we've got Amelia, who's 1 and walking and just, you know, into everything. And anytime a door was left open, she was like there. I mean, immediately it was like she's just got, you know, a sixth sense of, oh, that that looks very dangerous. Let's go check it out, you know. So she was immediately in the studio as soon as the door was left open.
We dug out the old fence and gate thing that we had when Fitz was a puppy to keep her out of the kitchen and stuff. And
it worked.
Yeah, it's got like a little gate that you can, you know, open
Latch.
and walk through. And Angela went through there, and she was through. Angela had been through there.
Maybe 30 seconds.
Maybe. And she was through and then headed toward the laundry room and just like,
Yeah,
yes.
I was just picking one thing up out of the laundry room and left the gate open, and Amelia was right behind me, like just right there.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Okay, so I'm making that light yellow that was kind of the eye color, but maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit more yellow. I think I'm going to use that up here for my moon and sort of do a dry brush moon. I don't think I'm going to do a solid, like realistic looking moon, but just kind of that sort of, you know, like that. And my brush keeps hitting the microphone. Just to move my painting over a little bit. A we'll see. I don't know if this is going to be exactly what I'm picturing, but we'll try that. And then I'm going to get some of this blue here, a little bit of white, and kind of try to transition to the bluish color, and then the teal that's I would definitely say do this part before you do your witch, or the owl. The only reason I did not is because I wasn't sure how long the owl was going to take me with the live stream, and I didn't want to run out of time doing this and not have time to finish the owl. So it's a lot harder to paint around the owl than to do this first. So make it easier for yourself. Do the background first. All right. And I think I want maybe a little bit of purple too. So I'll get a little purple and add that to that. Get a little bit more of the ultramarine blue there. And a little bit of the white. And just, yeah, use a little bit of the purple coming around. And then I just want it to, you know, be dark enough in that corner. Hi, Fitzpickle. What you doing? So I'm going to get that teal color that I had and just sort of try to, again, sort of dry brush it over that transition area and pull that color down. I'll have to repaint the hat right there a little bit, I think. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good enough. It's kind of the idea, I think. So that sort of feels like a harvest moon. Get a little bit of water, and that will help get me a better line around my owl here. My paint is just a little bit dry. When you've got a thick brush and dry paint, it just doesn't want to move. You won't get a solid line. So now I can get a good line there around my owl hat. And this is starting to get sticky, so you don't want to mess with it while it's starting to get sticky. Just do as best you can and let it leave it to dry. Cute. All right, so maybe let's bring up some of this like it's sort of greenery or something here. So let's just do kind of some dabs of some stuff back there. So maybe that looks like greenery. Let's get some more of this teal here. This is just ultramarine blue, cobalt teal, and a little bit of burnt sienna for this teal color here. The burnt sienna is important because it neutralizes that blue, and it makes it more of a cloudy teal color instead of that brighter blue color. Okay, and then to transition here, I'm just going to dab over the top and kind of just because this green is pretty much dry here, so I'm just going to dab over the top a few brush strokes to sort of blend them together. They're close enough together in color, they're not that far apart, and they're pretty much the same value, so they're about the same darkness, and so you can just kind of tap over the color with the other one. I want to make sure that this color and the color on the other side of the hat are the same, though. That'll be important. feel it a little bit dry, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of water. You don't want it super wet or soupy, but get into that corner there.
So
Okay, there we go.
you'll be back on Thursday for your Patreon people?
Yep, we're going to be painting a lake reflections kind of thing. I think our schedule may be out on socials today, I think. If you're part of our newsletter, if you want to keep up with what we're doing, we have a newsletter that comes out once a week, and then we also send out a reminder on Tuesdays of our live stream videos here on YouTube. So that's not where the newsletter is. It's on the website. Yeah, there we go. thankfulart.com. And but Patreon will have the traceable and other information, so it's a good one to have too. But yeah, if you go to my website, it's the best place to. It's just got everything, and it's where you can watch the videos that, if you're a patron, that's where our videos are saved now. So, getting some of that color that I was just using for the background is in black, and I'm just going to kind of clean up the edge of my hat here. Just a couple places where my hat kind of got lost. Maybe right in here. So let's just make that highlight right there a little bit brighter, and that way it'll show up more. So we just get a little bit more white here, and my teal. Just make sure we've got our color just a little bit brighter. So we'll come around this corner here and have a little bit brighter highlight on our hat. There and through here. You can use a smaller brush. It might be a little bit hard to do the rounded thing with this brush. And then I'll wipe that off, and I'm going to use this in dry brush. It's easier to do the dry brush if you don't have too much paint in your brush. So I'm going to just do a little extra highlight right across from our moon. And I've switched to this smaller brush now. This is the 4 Filbert. I'm going to get this yellow again that's in our moon. Maybe a little bit more white this time. I'm going to do my moon again. And this time I'm just going to go on top and put the thick color in the middle where I want it to cover the best. And then I can wipe some of it out so I don't have a ton on here, and just kind of go around and let whatever's left on my brush just kind of dry brush across the canvas, and it'll create these little streaky effects. Try to keep the roundness matching the roundness of the moon. Like that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, looks cute. All right, and then let's put in a few, I think I'm going to put I want my branches to be sort of grayed out, so I don't think I want them to be black because I don't want to compete with my hat here. So I'm going to use kind of purple and, let me see, I need a little bit darker than that. There we go. Just slightly darker than my background. And I think I don't want to go down that far. I think I'm going to have them kind of come off the edge here. Whoops, I just wiped off some of my paint there. And just do some little zigzaggy. I don't want, if you want it kind of creepier looking, you kind of want to do like more jaggedy lines instead of smooth lines. So I might do a little bit more back and forth. Okay, I don't know why this is, I think I put it up too low or something. Push that up. Yeah, okay, so just kind of like light, dark gray, not light gray, dark gray, but not too thick, not too black. Having trouble with my words, sorry. Just putting back in that part that I took off when I wiped it off. All right, that looks really good. I like it. Cute. Just do a few more. Let's do some lines coming across this way. That feels a little bit thick, but there we go. And then let's do just a little bit over here, kind of the same, sort of coming through. The thing with trees, you need to make sure that your branches get thinner as they go out. So like here, I've got a thin part right here, so I need to make sure that I kind of come back and make sure that everything back toward the trunk is thicker than that section there. So you don't want an area that thins out in your tree trunks, branches. And just kind of do like that. I'm gonna fill in this area of the hat with this color. I like it. And then if you want to do, you know, we can do like some light foliage that's sort of light greenish. Maybe a little bit of black with my yellow, a little bit of blue in there. Do some little dabs, maybe some burnt sienna. Okay, here we go. I think I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think? Good. Let's go ahead and clean up the brow of the rim of the hat here. I just realized I still hadn't done that. Just kind of straight line across there. And then I want to glaze that area underneath it. So I'm going to get a little bit of black in my glaze. And
what do you mean by glaze?
Glaze is just a clear fluid that is basically the polymer that makes acrylics, the binder in the acrylics. And it's got a little bit of an extender in it. The one that I use is from Golden. It's called Glazing Fluid. And it's right here. It's just clear. It looks white, but it dries clear. And you're adding whatever paint color you want to it. And the more paint that you add, the more solid the color. The more glaze you add, the more transparent the color will be. And we're going to go over the top of our painted area here and add our shadow in. I've already done this once, but I think it didn't go on quite dark enough, so I want a little bit darker just through here, right up underneath the brim there. Should be almost black. See that corner there? Go on your hat. It's not going to hurt anything. The hat's black, so it's not going to change that any. And I can use it along the side of the head, wherever I want to add a little bit of shadow to my owl. So anywhere where I think maybe like in here, maybe it's got a little bit more shadow in my picture, so I can add a little bit of dark right there. Use my finger to glaze it out. You can see this side's been done and this side hasn't, so I'll do it on this side. You can see the difference it makes. It's just a way to kind of shadow. It basically is a shadow that we're adding. You think of it that way, just like in nature. Just adding those shadows in with our paint. So I think I'm going to add in the mouth area, add a little bit of dark kind of around it. Right there. And again, the darker I go, the more pronounced the shadow will be. Yeah, there we go. Now he's got a little bit of a mouth there. Can kind of come up under the chin here. Give his face a little bit of shape. It's just a way to kind of shape out your picture. You can add color. So if I wanted my feathers to be a little bit more yellow or a little bit more red or a little bit more blue or whatever, I could glaze with those colors to give them a little bit of color. But I'm just wanting to add a little bit of shadow on mine, so I'm just using black. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to zoom out, hun, so we can see it. Thank you. What?
This is watching what you're doing.
Oh, okay. All right, there we go. There's our little owl with the witchy hat. I think it was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, we forgot to do stars in the sky. Hello. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and do that too. Might as well. Now, I'm going to have to kind of cover his face because I don't want to get my stars on him. So I'm going to get some white.
Are they big and bright? I'm sorry.
I don't know what you're silly.
Stars.
I know, I get it.
Okay. And we have a super chat, so don't say goodbye too fast.
Nice. Again, do this before you do your owl. You save yourself a lot of trouble.
You may want to watch the video in reverse.
Yeah, exactly. No. Yes. And then I can take my wet paper towel here and just wipe off any that got on my tree or anywhere else that I don't want them to be. The hat, yeah. Wipe them off the hat. Just get them while they're first put on there, they'll come right off. No problem. Okay. Well, I've got a lot on that tree. There we go. Or you can always go back over your tree. Again, probably should have done this before I did my trees, but, you know, it's all right.
Live and learn.
Yep. Well, I wasn't sure I was going to do the night sky, so.
Not bad for their first day back.
Yes, we did okay. We did okay. I've missed it. I missed you guys, so it's fun to get back into the swing of it, and this was a great project to do. Hope you guys try it because it's super fun. Super fun. Just in time for Halloween this year. And if you are not part of my Thankful Art group on Facebook, there is a link down in the description to that. We're going to be having a live stream on Saturday in that group. And we're going to be doing a contest with Princeton brushes. Ooh. And we're going to be giving away a bunch of really cool stuff. Some brushes and some canvases and paint. Here's a little preview of the brush set and the paint. So we're going to do a contest with thrifted art, where you add Halloween themed stuff to thrifted art, or we're going to have some blank art that you can print off that's royalty free, and you can add your own little ghosts and bats and whatever to it. But the idea is to take an existing piece of art and alter it, make it more Halloweenish. Just a fun little thing to do for the season, and thought we would do it. We posed the idea to Princeton, and they were gracious enough to give us some really fun prizes. So we're going to be doing that. If you're interested in that, be sure to join my Thankful Art group down in the description, and we'll be having our live stream on this Saturday for that. Mark and I just explaining a little bit more, and I'm going to do a little example of what to do, and then it won't be a long live stream, but
on Facebook.
On Facebook, yep.
Perfect.
In the Facebook group, and that's where the contest will be run, and where you'll submit your entries if you want to join in. All right, thank you guys so much. Oh,
super chat.
Okay.
Man,
you even told me, and I forgot.
Say thank you. Here's a cowbell.
Cowbell.
Super chat. Okay, we had a super chat today, and it was from Laura.
Oh.
And Laura says, "Missed you. We're so glad all is well, and you and Mark are back."
Thank you, Laura.
Many thanks to
We
both.
missed you guys too. Yes. Thank you.
It was fun
awesome.
doing the chatting during the pre-recorded stuff, but there's nothing that beats actually being live and interacting.
Mm-hmm. Getting to answer your questions live and all that kind of thing. It's great. So yeah, we're really excited to be back. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.